Orphan barrel, Fable, and Folly. I'm a little late to the game with this one because I was always a bit apprehensive on Orphan barrels, especially for the price. This, of course, excludes some personal favorites like Lost Prophet and Rhetoric 22, which I thought were outstanding releases. Now, Fable and Folly marries the last remaining stocks of Barterhouse, Forged Oak, and various Rhetoric releases with a proprietary blend to create this bottle. Let's unpack it, review it. It's the Mash and Drum. What's up, folks? I'm Jason C. Welcome back to the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. Like, subscribe, do all the things you need to do to help grow the channel. Really appreciate it. Before we get into the review, it is time to hear from today's video sponsor, the game changer. It is Zbiotics. All right, guys, they are back. Today's sponsor is Zbiotics, the amazing probiotic I've been using behind the scenes for a while now. I've been talking about it before I do my live streams, before I do live tastings, before I do barrel picks. Before I just want to go out and have a good time, enjoy some drinks, and still be productive the next day. How does it work? Zbiotics was developed by some very smart scientists who knew the real problem is not dehydration, but a byproduct of alcohol, which is most responsible for rough mornings after you drink. Zbiotics produces an enzyme like the one your liver uses to break down this byproduct. Now, anytime I think I'm gonna have a few drinks, I take Zbiotics, and the next day I can wake up, get right back to work, make more content, and get right back into the gym, which is really important to me. All you do is drink one of these about an hour before you start drinking, and that's pretty much it. This was really helpful around the end of the year during the holidays, sharing a lot of whiskey with family and friends, doing a few tastings. Then sometimes you have a cocktail, maybe a little wine sneaks in there. Zbiotics can help with all of that. You should still drink water to stay hydrated and get a good night's sleep as always, but Zbiotics makes it that much easier to be productive the very next day. It's real science that works, no random plant extracts, no off-the-shelf ingredients, 100% money-back guaranteed, no sugar added, all natural. Here's how you get it. So kick off the new year right, everybody, and go to zbiotics.com/mashanddrum or scan the QR code on the screen right here and use code mashanddrum at checkout to get 15% off on your first order. That's right. Click the link below in the description or scan this handy QR code right here and use code mashanddrum to get 15% off on your first order. Thanks to Zbiotics for sponsoring this video, and thanks to you for making the sponsors happen. Cheers. All right, so Fable and Folly is from the Orphan Barrel Whiskey Distilling Company. The company states that Orphan Barrel searches for rare whiskeys hidden away and nearly forgotten in the dark corners of distilleries and rickhouses, bottling and releasing limited amounts of these treasured liquids with the care and craft that they deserved. Brilliant marketing. Now, as I mentioned, and according to the press release, in order to create Fable and Folly, master blender Andrew McKay married the last remaining stocks of Barterhouse, Forged Oak, and various Rhetoric releases with a proprietary blend to create this expression. It pays homage to the original releases, yet possesses a distinct profile of its own. Now, the company states that the spirit animal on the whiskey's label is a hybrid of the three signature animals of the whiskeys from which it came: a stag, a hummingbird, and a fox. So the bottle carries a nice big 14-year-old age statement, and the whiskey blend contains the aforementioned Barterhouse bourbon, Forged Oak bourbon, and the various Rhetoric bourbons. I'm not sure which ones they use, but you know, Rhetoric did have ages 20 through 25, all using that mash bill of 86 corn, 8% malted barley, and 6% rye, reportedly from Bernheim. Now, the website states that this 14-year-old whiskey is a unique balance of age and flavor, accenting the rich, creamy character of the Orphan bourbons with the spiciness of an aged rye whiskey. So, safe to say there probably is some well-aged rye whiskey in here too. Also labeled as just whiskey as opposed to bourbon, or even straight whiskey. Suggests there could be some other stuff in the blend that could be a number of different things as long as it's, you know, legal to put it in there. Bottled at 90 proof and retails for 150 bucks. All right, let's get into it. Wow, so the nose is, I guess it's kind of what I expected, but not what I expected. It's very, very sweet. It's beautifully sweet oak. I definitely get a big punch of rye spice in here. Almost like a black pepper. Man, but it is sweet. There's a lot of just like powdered sugar going on in here, almost like pastry and sugar. There's a nice like dusty funk to it that it has. Well, you know, kind of like a dusty bourbon type note where it's, you could tell some of those well-aged bourbons are kind of impacting, especially the aroma of the nose. A little bit of butterscotch here, which I love to find that, but really the oak is the most prevalent, and that makes sense considering the ages of the whiskeys that are blended in here. So let's give it a try. First sip for me is all candy. That is sweet. I mean, I'm almost getting like strawberry. Yeah, there's gotta be a rye in here because I'm getting a good amount of citrus. Now, whether that's I'm not sure if it's orange, lemon. There's a big punch of citrus here that just kind of, it's almost acidic in a way, but then the oak comes in and kind of mellows everything out. Second sip, now the oak is really starting to take over. That oak presence is what's the most prevalent. Now, even at 90 proof, I think if there is a rye in here, I think it's definitely helping with the proof. It's a little, it just gives you a little bit of spice to kind of balance out all the oak and the fact that it's only 90 proof. You know what? The more I sip this, I'm expecting it to get oakier and oakier, and it's actually getting sweeter for me. The oak is still very prevalent. I like the rye spice. This is a nice little 90 proof whiskey. Is it blowing my mind? No, but for something with a high age statement like this, it's not too bad. I could appreciate the layers here, the sweet, the spice. There's a good amount of oak, a little bit of a dustiness to it. For a 90 proofer, again, it's hard to kind of put this in context to match it up with something else. The only thing I could think of is maybe Elijah Craig 18, but you know, those aren't really that easy to find either. I'll tell you what, this whiskey isn't my thing. I like the flavors of it. I think it gives you a nice balance, especially for the proof point. Way more spice than I thought it was gonna have on the finish for this thing. But man, 150 bucks, if you could get it for that price. I mean, well, let me think about it and let's go to the final breakdown. All right, guys, price on this one, $150. I'm not sure about secondary, but I have seen this bottle in stores for upwards of $200 to $250. As far as availability goes, I didn't really see a bottle count for this anywhere, but I would imagine that you're blending a bunch of barrels together. I know it's, you know, the last remnants of whatever they had. Plus you're adding some more stuff to it. You're making a big, huge blend. You're proofing it down to 90. I would imagine there's a good amount of these in places. I know I've been, you know, whenever I travel to different states, I see these just kind of lying around. So I'll just say the availability is average. Value for this one is the tricky part because again, we're talking about other bottles to compare this to, and the only one I can really think of is Elijah Craig 18 being 90 proof and a high age. Elijah Craig 18 is obviously 18 years old, 90 proof. This reminds me a lot of that, where it's got a big punch of oak, it's got a little bit of sweetness to balance everything out. The one thing I do like this, I think, over the Elijah Craig 18 is this has a little bit more spice to it on the back end. So if they did put a rye whiskey in here, I think I like that aspect of this. So as far as value goes, 150, if you could find it for 150, I'll say it's even. Now, as far as the most I'd pay, I do wish that Orphan barrel, Diageo, whatever you want to call it, I really wish they were a lot more transparent as far as what's in this bottle, and that makes me hesitate to pay a little extra for it. So the most I'd pay, if this is above 150, I'm not buying it. 150 is the most amount. I enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it enough that I'm gonna go out of my way to pay more for this, especially not knowing exactly what's in that blend. Alternative, is there an alternative for this? The only one, like I said, I can think of is Elijah Craig 18. Something with this much age in a given blend at this price point. Honestly, Elijah Craig 18 is the only thing I can think of. If you guys have another whiskey that's close to this, you know, let me know down in the comments. Lastly, is it a recommend? This is a try before you buy for me. I mean, hands down. I think there are some people that could really like this profile. It's 90 proof, it's not harsh, it's got enough flavor. If you like oak, it's all there. They're sweet, they're spice, it's well balanced. Does it blow me away though? No. As it opens up, is it gonna get a little bit more oaky and funky? I mean, time will tell. But for me, this isn't an absolute home run recommend. I think this could be either too oaky for some people, the proof could be too low for some people. There's a lot of factors that come into play with this bottle. For me, it's a try before you buy, but I do think it's a solid blend. I don't mind it. I probably wouldn't buy another one though. All right, guys, well, hope you enjoyed this review for the Orphan, Barrel, Fable, and Folly. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the subscribe button below. Please hit the like button. If you haven't yet, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. Let me know if you've had this one, what you think of it. Do you have any other alternatives that you could think of? And as I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. Cheers, see you next time right here on The Mash and Drum. Take care, guys. Cheers.